Hey, welcome to Crack the Code. I'm your host, Derick Gant. I am here because I feel driven to help people figure out how to break away from mediocrity. Saying mediocrity is my way of saying average. I'm not sure about you, but I can't stand being considered like everyone else, just being part of the crowd. I like to stand out. And I don't necessarily mean I want a lot of attention, because that's not the case, but I want to be different. I don't want to be broke like everyone else. I don't want to be obese and out of shape like everyone else. I don't want to have poor relationships and fight with my lady like everyone else. I want to be different. I want to excel, and I want to be greater, because greater is better, no matter which way you slice it. So Crack the Code is all about how I have, over these many, many years, and I've got 30 plus years in the marketplace, to help you figure out, some of the tools and techniques that I've used, that I've learned, that I've adopted, that I've stolen, that I've remodeled, remolded, and elevated to help myself stay in the game. And you're going to hear me talk about the game a lot, because I believe life is like a game. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to convince you of anything. If you're listening to this podcast, it's because you feel, you think, or you get something greater that's touching and stirring inside of you, that's helping you understand that you need to take some action to move to the next level. If you like this podcast, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to the channel. If you already subscribed, I'm going to ask you to like it, and then I'm going to ask you to share it. It's the only way that we can break these chains of mediocrity. And why do we want to break those chains of mediocrity? The more people we have operating at a higher level, the less bullshit we got to put up with. I'm just being honest, right? If you come to this podcast, you're going to get straight, direct, no chaser, because that's who I am. And in this platform, which is my platform, I get to be purely authentic. I get to be me. I get to be the person that I was born and bred to be. And that's going to be a little bit spiritual, a little bit athletic, a little bit combative. You're going to get a little bit of it all, because that's just, unfortunately, the way I roll. So let me start with explaining, where I come from, how I got to where I am, and why you should even consider listening to me. So let's start with that last one. I've been a financial consultant for well over 30 years, managing millions of dollars for thousands of people. Over my career, I know that we've had at least 4,000 people that have come through our doors that we've helped face to face fix their financial life. Now, it doesn't mean they've all fixed it. What it means is that we've given them the tools, the insights, and the understanding on how to fix it. And we hope that the majority of those people, and we know that the majority of those people have done that and have changed their life. It's interesting that our clients are always saying, oh God, do I have to deal with Derick? And that's because I live my life by a standard that is higher than mediocrity. And every time I'm with someone, either I figure out how to rise a little bit higher, or I help them rise a little bit higher. But let me share that I am by no means am perfect. Matter of fact, I don't ever want to be perfect. I never will say that I have all the answers. What I will say is that I am willing to take crazy action and then figure out if that's right or wrong, and then figure out how to do that easier, better, faster, and more accurately. Cracking the code simply means that you are willing to dive into yourself to figure out what works best for you. Remember, we're talking about that thing, that purpose, that why, that mission, that cause that is greater than you, that you have burning inside of you. And honestly, I'm here to appeal to myself. Other cats like me, they know they should be multimillionaires. They know that they should be madly in love with the person of their dreams. They know that they should spend more time in relationships. They should have more spirituality. They know, because they feel that they have so much more to offer society that they're not able to offer I'm here for that person. That man, that woman, that young person that's saying, man, I don't want to wait. I want to be great today. And I believe that when you dive into yourself and you start answering some serious personal questions, that you'll get the answers if you spend enough time, enough quiet time. Now, I was lucky. I spent plenty of quiet time when I was younger meaning in my early 20s, in quiet meditation, journaling. These are all the things you're going to have to do at some point that we'll talk about later. Today, we're just introducing the why. So being a registered investment advisor and being an entrepreneur, I've owned fitness studios. I own still an investment company, an insurance company. I also own a personal brand called the 24K Life. I'm the founder of that. And that is a journey of a family of people that are like-minded, looking to elevate their life. They're looking for accountability partners. They're looking for insights and tips, and they're looking for somebody to nudge them along the path in the right way. Now, again, I don't know everything. So inside of our 24K Life community, we have other experts that come in, that stay in, that guide you. There's life coaches, there's fitness coaches. You know what? I am the money coach. And sometimes we'll have some other money people in there, but for the most part, I'm the money guy. And we invite other experts into the space to help our members elevate. So cracking the code is all about the 24K Life code. And that is saying, how can you be like gold? How can you be as valuable, more valuable than the purest form of gold? And you can only do that by going through the fire. When you go through the fire, meaning when you take the time to figure out all of your potential quirks and your potential areas of improvement, your potential areas of excellence, and you figure out how you can get better and better, regardless of the environment, regardless of who you think's holding you back, regardless of what you think is holding you back. I know and believe that you will find your code to be greater, because it's different. There's a reason why we all look different. There's a reason why our fingerprints are different. There's a reason why our eyes are all different. That's because even as one, we are all individually different, and you need and are motivated by different things than other people. You have different habits that work for you that don't work for others. And the book, our conversation here, is about you finding that combination to create your code. And then once you have it, to live by it without fail, without influence, without challenge. You will unadulteratedly live according to your code so that you can continue to bring and be your best self. You'll notice I sign everything off with be your best, bring your best, leave nothing to chance. And I say it because when you are your best and at your best and delivering your best, you minimize the chance of loss. You minimize the chance of win, meaning you're going to win. There's no chance in winning when you are constantly delivering excellence and greatness. And that's simply because everybody else is delivering mediocrity. You're going to rise above. And let me tell you something, when you think about life, when you look at life, you'll notice that the people who consistently are disciplined and accountable to themselves, that bring excellence in everything that they do as often as possible, get paid more money. Just go look. It doesn't matter if you're talking sports, doesn't matter if you're talking entertainment, it doesn't matter if you're talking doctors, lawyers. The best get paid the most. Doesn't mean they're better than anybody else. It just means that they've cracked their code. Don't you want to crack your code? Again, I'm not here selling you. If you're watching this, it's under your own volition. I hope you love it. I hope you're going, damn, yes, I need to crack my code. I need more out of me. I'm sick of living this mediocre life. I know there is more greatness inside of me. I need to live by my code. You know, there's hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of books out there, personal development books that talk about somebody else's journey, how they were able to do a thing. They tell you their code. And they tell you their code because they go, oh, it worked for me, it'll work for you. It won't. And that's what I'm here to tell you. I'm here to say to you, here's some tools, some insights, and some techniques to figure out your own code, because no one else's code is going to open your secret door to unlock your potential, to unlock your greatness, to unlock your gold that you need to deliver to the universe. But just like gold, you got to go through the fire. You have to go through the process. It is not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Let me give you this suggestion. Let's say that you are a runner, but you're still not in the best physical shape that you want to be. Running may not be the thing for you. Maybe it works for someone else, but not for you. Maybe you are a runner and it works great for you, and your friend sees how great shape you are and they start running and it doesn't work for them. We all have a different strategy. And let me tell you something, the older you get, everything continues to change. So unfortunately, you are constantly looking to crack your code, to figure out your nuances in life so that you can be bigger, better, stronger, faster, smarter, wealthier, more loving, more giving, more caring, more nurturing, and more selfish. Oh my God. If you read my book, I talk a lot about being selfish. You got to learn to crack the code. I'm Derick Gant. I'll be right back.
You need to watch this if you struggle with feeling stuck in life. I'll show you how to get the best version of yourself with the 24K Life Code. The 24K Life Code by Derick Gant isn't just a book. It's your blueprint to extraordinary living. Imagine understanding yourself so deeply that your goals, strengths, and passions become crystal clear. That's the power of. But knowing isn't enough. The next step? It's about turning those insights into deliberate moves that lead you to success. And guess what? It's not as hard as you think. Now let's talk mindset and replaces limiting beliefs with a focus on growth and prosperity. It's about seeing opportunities, not obstacles. Finally, we have. Align your daily activities with your true values and watch your life transform. The 24K Life Code is your map to financial stability and a life filled with purpose and abundance. Ready to live unapologetically and authentically? Your greatness awaits.
All right. So the 24K Life is all about being your best self. And the analogy, like gold, is because once we purify ourselves, once we get rid of all of the things that are not us, that are not the pure value of us, like procrastination, like laziness, like being out of shape, like not working out, all the things, the limiting beliefs, the doubt. Once we get rid of those things, we purify ourselves, just like gold is purified. They heat it up and it gets the temperature separates the lead, it separates the copper, separates the iron, and you're left with pure gold. And that's why you have different levels of gold, because the higher you go, the closer you get to 24K, the more pure the gold is. So once you do that and you reach your value, you will get compensated for it. You'll get compensated in love. You get compensated in better relationships. You get compensated in better health, more money. We just call it abundance. So once you become your absolute best self, your value is going to skyrocket. Now, it may not happen overnight. It may take people a little bit of time to catch up with you, but you will get your money. You will get your honey. And that's, to me, what it's all about. That money and that honey, right? You can't think about life in terms of, man, I just want to get my money right. Because if your money right and your body's out of shape, how are you going to enjoy it? If your body's tight, your money's right, but you're spiritually bankrupt, how are you going to have great relationships? How are you going to feel good? You've heard about those people that are famous and wealthy and spiritually bankrupt. They're not happy. They commit suicide. They do crazy things because they have a hole, and that hole is a spiritual hole. And then, of course, you have to have your relationships tight across the board. So we're really diving into our 5 core areas. We got to get that money right. We have to get our mindset right. You have to have great relationships, great spirituality, and a great physical body. So once you do that and you say, man, that is a lot of juggling, And that's the way I looked at it. There's a lot of juggling. But once you figure out how to get that on the right track, you're always going to have something that's a little bit ahead of the other. But once you get it moving on the right track in unison, that synchronicity starts to develop your aura. It starts to develop your vibe. And let me tell you something. Everybody is attracted to winners. I'm telling you, everybody's attracted to winners. And you know those people that aren't attracted to winners? You know, they're the ones that like hate on the Patriots for winning too many Super Bowls, or Tom Brady or some other person, and they hate on that person, is not because they don't like winners. It's because they're jealous, right? If they were the ones continuing to win, they would see nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with these people that are hating on me? Oh, it's him again. He always wins. Yes, it's me. And yes, I always win because I put in the work. Because you think it comes easy, but I got 10,000 hours in the game, practicing, beating on my craft so that when I show up, it does look easy. When I walk into a room, people see the results of my accountability. They see the results of my discipline, and they want a part of it. Why do you think so many people are attracted to athletes and sports figures? It goes back to ancient Roman times where they had the gladiators that were physical specimens of society competing against other gladiators, against other wild animals. Those gladiators were above the fray. They were the 24K members of society that were willing to go far, far, far beyond what the average person was willing to do, and that's why they were respected. That's why they were honored. What are you willing to go far, far above and beyond? I'm telling you, there's no one that just woke up and they got it. Even people with silver spoons, they wake up and they were born into the right family and they have wealth. They got that. Do they have spirituality? Do they have stick-to-itiveness? Do they have confidence? Do they have courage? I'm telling you, it takes work. You have to go through the process to have a pure 24K life. To be your absolute best in those areas, you got to go through the fire. So I can tell you where my fire came from. You know, when I was young, did you have one of those moms that you swept the floor? They say, sweep the floor, you swept the floor. And then when you finish, they go, you didn't do a good job, sweep it again. And then you swept it again and they go, look, there's still crumbs over there, sweep it again. And they would not let up until it was done right. That's where it started from. It started from going to school and my mom saying to me, hey, just had parent-teacher conferences with your teacher. Let's go over your report card. Hey, you got an A in this, you got a satisfactory in this, you got a C in this. And she say, did you do your best? And I would say, yes or no. Sometimes the answer was yes, and sometimes the answer was no. But let me tell you her responses. If I said yes, that C was the best I could do, she would then in turn hug me, kiss me, and say, I'm very proud of you. That's all you can do. That's all mommy would ever expect from you is your best. Good job. At the same token, if I said no, she would say, well, what can you do differently? And then I would tell her, and then she would 2X it. So if I said I could study more, I could read more, I could, whatever it was, she would say, okay, you've been studying an hour, now you got to study 2. So being your best, bringing your best leaves nothing to chance. I don't have to sweep the floor again. I don't have to have this argument or this discussion about why I got a C. If I bring my best, it eliminates the potential failure. Doesn't mean I don't fail at things. It just means it reduces it greatly. Who wants to fail? Right? Not consistently. Who wants to fail? I know I don't. So one of the things, and we'll finish up here, one of the things that you have to be innately clear on is that our life is ruled by universal principles and laws. There's certain things, laws can be changed. Universal laws cannot. They are emphatic. There are 12 of them. I suggest that you go look up the 12 immutable laws of the universe, but I'm only going to talk about 1 or 2 of them. Most people are familiar with the law of attraction, and they say, I'm going to woo-woo and think my way into manifesting this amazing 24K life. And I call bullshit. I'm telling you, I call bullshit. If we think a certain way, does that attract certain things? Yes. Does it change and transform? Because let's not be twisted here. We are talking about transformation. We're talking about the phoenix, right? We're talking about dying, burning, and rising like the phoenix. 24K, baby. That's what we're talking about. So if you're just thinking, if you're just wishing, if you're just imagining, that's only going to get you so far. Because what will happen is that if you only think about a thing, you really don't change anything. You really don't. You're thinking about it, so it might change for the moment. If you're thinking about how great life is, it puts you in a good mood, and so you're nicer to people, and then somebody gives you a free lunch. That's great. I love it. Perfect. But we're talking about what you can control. We're talking about self-mastery, which we're not going to talk about today, but we're talking about self-mastery. How can you transform you? And so I'm going to go one step further and say, after you've done the imagination, once you've done The Feeling is the Secret, which is a book by Neville Goddard, maybe that's Wallace Wattles. I'll have to double check that. Once you've done that, you got to take action. So I'm talking about the law of action. Once you think about a thing, you need to think about it so deeply, so innately, that you start to act like the person of the thing that you're thinking. So if you're thinking about being exquisitely fit, having the body of a Greek god, let's say Zeus or Adonis, you wanted that perfect body. You can't just think about it. You got to say, what do people who have amazing fitness do? And I might go a step further, because if you're 40 and you're looking at a 20-year-old saying, oh my God, what does that 20-year-old do to get that amazing body? It's a high probability they don't do too much. I mean, I was fit as fuck at 20. Now, granted, I did a lot of working out because of football and sports, but man, I was smashing McDonald's and smashing Burger King. I was the Whopper King. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do those things. You can't work out and eat Whoppers at 40 and think that anything's going to change, because it won't. I promise you. I promise you it won't. So the question becomes, once you think so greatly about a thing, you need to find a comparable role model and start to look at that person and say, what do they do? Meaning, what do I need to do? And I think you already know what you need to do in order to have a better body. And it all starts with the fork. Then you're going to dive off into supplements, and then you're going to dive off into your fitness routine. So I'm suggesting that thinking about a thing is critical. It's critically important. And you have to think about it so critically that you understand the actions of what it takes on a regular, consistent, daily, desperate basis to get that thing. It applies to your money. It applies to your body. It applies to your relationship. Now, for those of you let's talk about relationships super, super quick. Let's say, as an example, you want a perfect partner. And I would suggest to you that you take pen and paper, and you begin to write down everything that you think you need, you want in a partner. Write it all down. And once you finish that list, you need to make another column, and you need to put a check mark next to every one of those items that you currently possess. And if you possess all those, man, the partner's coming. But if you don't, you need to be what you're looking to attract, because that's the vibe. That's the vibe, right? That's the energy you're spewing out. See, if you're being hypocritical, you want one thing, but you're not that thing. Like attracts like. Birds of a feather flock together. So let's not get it twisted about where you are with your money, with your finances, with your relationships, with your mentality, with your ability to cope with problems. You can do it. All you need to do is keep listening, keep taking notes, be your best, bring your best, leave nothing to chance. I'm Derick Gant. Have an amazing day.